This story is really interesting to me for a number of reasons. As a general rule, people in corporate media despise social democracy. How do we know that? Well, they have a lot of corporate advertisers, and they have bosses, and they usually hire people who are relatively sympathetic to the status quo, and the social democracy is, of course, not the status quo. And also, these people hate Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders is an FDR-style New Deal Democrat or social democrat. Well, apparently Morning Joe just stumbled on the fact that FDR/Bernie Sanders is right about everything when it comes to economics. This is something
that people with my viewpoint, moderates, the neoliberals that you talk about, that you say so many progressives despise because they've been running the White House. I mean, there are people like me that would make the argument, if we don't push forward these economic reforms, it is American capitalism itself that is endangered. Because I grew up in a white suburban neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia. My mom and dad, they struggled through the Great Depression, but hey, they had middle-class jobs and they could afford to send us to college, and they were bought into the American dream. If it keeps getting worse, there are going to be fewer and fewer Americans buying into the American dream. So don't we have to do this to save American capitalism from itself?
That's certainly my belief, and this tag that moderate Democrats like Barack Obama and Joe Biden have gotten as socialist, this socialist crap that Republicans and the right, just at every instance, any program that the Democrats propose is socialism, is ridiculous. The most successful capitalist free market economies on earth, some of them are the Nordic countries, Finland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, that are absolutely capitalist and also have these really robust social welfare systems, social democracies that, as they understand, allow their free market capitalism to prosper, allow them to have more billionaires, sorry, Anand, per capita than the United States does. So yeah, if like FDR in the 30s, right? He was saving American capitalism, this rich guy, and welcomed the hatred of his fellow rich people who called him a socialist at the time. And by the way, the FDR analogy, I think, is good and a better one, a more hopeful one than the German 1930s analogy, which is that, as Anand said, he immediately, or suggested, as Biden should do, he should deal immediately with the acute crises of the pandemic. That's exactly what FDR did, right, with the Depression.
This is on MSNBC. And they're casually having a conversation about how the social democracies, the Nordic countries, are awesome and how FDR was right. I'm floored. This blows me away. And it really goes to show you how a lot of the commentary is just personality-based. Like, the elitists in D.C. and New York don't like Bernie Sanders, and so they shit on all of his ideas because they don't like him. It actually reminds me of like the whole force the vote conversation that just happened. The force the vote idea was great, but Jimmy Dore proposed it, and a lot of people who have positions of power don't like Jimmy Dore, so the idea is just, scoffed at, it's mocked, laughed at, treated as unserious. It's like, I don't care who comes up with it. If the idea is correct, the idea is correct. This is a situation like that where Bernie was saying all of these same things, and they're like, yeah, Bernie Sanders, socialist, crazy, far left, evil. And now they're just having a casual conversation about how social democracy is awesome and the Nordic systems work phenomenally well. And the other thing I noticed, and this says everything, doesn't it? It's all in the framing. So the way they're talking about it is like this. Yeah, the social democracies are great because they're the best examples of a success story for capitalism. That's how they're framing it. So since they're framing it in that way, these elites in their studio are like, oh, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? Because they're saying a positive thing about capitalism. You could just as easily talk about social democracy as a much more socialistic version of capitalism with a very robust welfare state. So it is that's what it is, right? It's a mixed economy. It's a hybrid economy. It has elements of socialism and capitalism. But since they frame it as talking about the capitalism part being good, all of a sudden, all of the critiques they normally have are gone. Well, interesting, because you were just telling me that Bernie Sanders is unreasonable and he's a crazy socialist. And, he, of course, wants universal health care and free college and stronger unions. Well, what the hell do you think a lot of the Nordic countries have? That's what they have. They have universal health care. Some of them have free college. In some of them, everybody's in a union, and so you don't even need a minimum wage because the union contracts negotiate way higher than what would be considered a minimum wage. So all the same ideas that Bernie Sanders supports that you shit on, now all of a sudden you're praising them, and you're just talking about them through the lens of, oh, this is a capitalism success story. I don't care what you call it, whatever the fuck you want. You want to call it a capitalism success story? You want to call it a socialism success story? You want to call it, I don't fucking care, chicken pot pie. Whatever the fuck you want to call it, I don't care, because the ideas are good and it makes sense. And whatever can get you to support it, I'm down for that. So if people on the right want to view it as a success of capitalism, fine, then let's do that here. People on the left want to view it as a success of socialism, fine, whatever, let's do that here, though. That's the main point. The whole idea of social democracy that's so appealing is you take the basics off the table in a civilized society, and then you give people an equal shot at success. It's a lot easier to have a shot at success when everybody has healthcare, everybody has a living wage, everybody has an education opportunity, everybody has paid vacation time by law, all these positive things. And stunningly, even they agree they're positive things when you frame the conversation in a certain way. By the way, Noam Chomsky used to make this point all the time, and it's true. It doesn't matter who you talk to in American politics. You could talk to Republicans, you could talk to Democrats. If you take away the labels and you just give people the issues, the ideas, and lay them out, social democratic ideas are wildly popular with everyone. With everyone. So, I really think that this presents an opportunity for the left to mature and grow and realize you have a winning hand, and you need to start playing it like it's a winning hand. Because I think strategy on the left has been abysmal for a very long time, and you don't even realize how easy it could be to have social democratic wave of victories and how we can reform the system because our ideas are so incredibly powerful that you do get agreement on it, from Marxists on a message board all the way to frickin' Joe Scarborough sitting in his comfy studio. That, yes, this is the direction we need to go in. We need to go in the social democratic direction. We need to, carry the mantle of FDR. Forget the era of big government is over. Nah, bitch, the era of big government is starting again right now. And it's so powerful and it's so popular that the polls show people are with us overwhelmingly, and we can even get Morning Joe to agree on this stuff. If you frame it a certain way, and the framing again is for them, oh, it's a success of capitalism. Fine, I'll take it, but let's do these ideas and stop shitting on the guy who presents these ideas to us, Bernie Sanders. It's amazing how it really does go to show you, though, how unserious they are. They're not intellectual. They're ridiculous. They're knee-jerk reactionaries in many ways because the ideas came from Bernie. Oh, bad, not good, we don't like it. But now they're warming to it because of the framing here of oh, it's a success of capitalism. So, whatever, man. I'll take it. I don't care how you get to the right position as long as you get to the right position. But it really is a mind-blowing experience to watch the people on MSNBC suddenly realize Bernie's right about stuff, social democracy is awesome, and we should move forward and embrace the vision and the ideology and the path of FDR.